אל רצונך. ירוץ עבדך כמו אייל, ישתחווה אל מול הדרך. ירוץ עבדך כמו אייל, ישתחווה אל מול הדרך. ירוץ עבדך כמו אייל, ישתחווה אל מול הדרך.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This week marked the winter solstice, the week in which the day is at its shortest and the night is at its longest. It is a time in which we long for more light. Each week we kindled the Shabbat candles, two flames amidst the cold and the dark of the week, two flames that bring light and symbolic hope and warmth to our hearts. As we heard the beautiful hymn of Yidid Nefesh, O beloved soul, let us dwell upon the ways our soulful qualities can extend out and provide light and warmth to those we love. We turn now as we bench Licht.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
With the candles kindled and light emanating from our homes and our hearts, we turn to Kabbalat Shabbat.
Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamo v'zacho b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el ha-meyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'lithilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor ha-beracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. La 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 ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. La 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 la
The following reading comes from Rabbi Richard Levy. Where was I last Sunday, Monday, so few days ago, so long ago? Can I total up the minutes in my day, my week, homework, housework, office work, yard work, busy work? What a full week, a sad week, a joyful week, an ordinary week. Was God present in my week? Did I see God in my reading, in the furniture I dusted, in the weeds I pulled? When I did my shopping, did I rejoice in the produce section, fruits and vegetables tumbling out of God's black earth? Did I rejoice in all that bounty? Did I share my portion? Was God in the laundry, clean clothes like a priest's new linen tumbling out of the machine? Did I make my car a vehicle of God, a chariot conveying me to places higher than my feet could run to? When I washed the windows, did God's creation rise up beyond the glass? I was in the world this week. So much I, so much world. I learned so much, so many insights, facts, ideas, so much to look at, to dust off and put back gently in its place. So much to gather in, to make my own, to wash the grime off with rain, with tears, with glory. So much silence, so much music. How many minutes in my week? 8,000? 8,000 minutes of light and splash and noise and love, 8,000 glimpses of God behind the tree, the book, the laundry, 8,000 cries of children, cars, my friends, 8,000 footprints of creatures on the road, 8,000 miracles I've seen this week, 8,000 chords of life eternal, each of them a prelude to Shabbat. We turn now to the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ויומכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ויאמרו אמן.
Please rise if you're able for the call to worship. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Creator of sunrise and sunset, you turn the day into night and the night into morning, dividing the day from the night, so no time is like another. 1,000 starlights write your name in the heavens. Source of life, be with us in the dark now and always. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, Creator who brings in the evening.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. על על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
You may be seated. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נעדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'amidenu shomrenu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
Please rise if you are able for the tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel chasadim tovim, vekonei hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot ve'imahot, umevi geula livnei v'neihem, lema'an shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechaye hakol, atah rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, Melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol Baruch ata Adonai mechaye hakol. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us, we mortals that you take note of us? You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. How wonderful, O God, are the works of your hands. The heavens declare your glory. The arch of sky displays your handiwork. In your love, you have given us the power to behold the beauty of your world, robed in all its splendor. The sun and the stars, the valley and the hills, the rivers and lakes, all disclose your presence. The roaring breakers of the sea tell of your awesome might. The beasts of the fields and the birds of the air bespeak your wondrous will. In your goodness you have made us able to hear the music of the world, the raging of the winds, the whispering of trees in the wood, and the precious voices of loved ones. Reveal to us that you are in our midst. A divine voice sings through all creation. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'cha na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol eit u'v'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
We take this time now as we think of members of our community who may be in need of refuat nefesh or refuat guf, a healing of body or a healing of spirit. Particularly in our hearts and minds, we are thinking of Shendel Batfreda Malka, Charlene Petlin, Shirley Graham, Alicia Shimon Ben David, Phyllis Slavin, Keith Mandel, Steve Toplinsky, Ethan Kaddish, Laura Bublitz, Keturah Bublitz, Ari Bublitz, Stephen Maglowski, Jean Robertson, Julie Borokoff, Dolores Michelo, Margot Roz, Mark Bloom, Carol Dubin, Rachel Bat Fruma, Kira Yudkovich, David Goldstein, Otto Feller, Weston Ben Nicky, Michael Keller, Kupelbot Roslin, Marilyn Horowitz-Kahn, Wendy Schuster, Mark Pash, Chris Gould, Mackenzie Clyde, June Robertson, Doreen Sager, Samsara Vizcaya, Sharon Rotman, Eliyahu Ben Maxinemela, Rivka Bat David Videvora, Bob Radke, Lyle Rubel, Mark Cook, Moshe Ben Nechama, Karen Pearson, Tony Gregg, Darlene Saxton, Edward Pierce, Jean Bass, Lee Applebaum, Alan Turner, Judy Weingarten, Myron Dvorkin, Ruben Benitez, Eugenia Benitez, Sybil Savalsky, Esther Cohen, Barbara Schnoll, Andrew Allenson, Seema Bardo, Matt Cheris, Lisa Furstadt, Stanley Furstadt, Dorothy Cummins, Michal Yehudit Bat Sarah, Terry Finch, Sherwin Pelton, Phil Himmelfarb, Bonnie Stern, Jeff Stern, Vince Tomkowitz, Yetta Benedin, Jonathan Crescenzo, Umberto Perez, Marcia Diamond, Judy Jogerson, and Ellen Bouts. If there are names that should be added to this list or any names that should be pronounced differently than I did, I invite you to hold those names in your heart as we turn to words that are beautiful in that they speak to the nature of healing. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, the source of healing.
Mi sheberach avoteinu mikor habracha le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imoteinu mikor habracha la'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
With these words of peace still echoing in our hearts and mind, we take this time for silent meditation.
Yihiyu l'ratzon imrefi vehegyon libi lefanecha, lefanecha, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, vegoali, vegoali. Yihiyu l'ratzon imrefi, imrefi, vehegyon libi lefanecha, lefanecha, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, V'go'ali, v'go'ali.
Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion, Vayigash, is the second last of the book of Genesis, and it, in many ways, marks the culmination of the Joseph story, but it also represents the sunset of Jacob, his father's life. When we examine the lives of the preceding patriarchs and matriarchs, it so often feels as though the story of the young begins with the end of the story of the old. It's not a departure from the stories of our own time. During the winter break, my children have been watching Disney movies, which almost always begin with the death of the parents. Besides making me nervous, it's a consistent message in our society that we value youth over age. However, this is not a typical attitude to which we in Jewish life have subscribed. There's a beautiful moment in this week's Torah portion when Joseph, who had been separated from his father for over 20 years, sent for him. Jacob believed Joseph was dead. For all those years, Joseph feared to return to his father that adored him so immensely. So Joseph sent 10 donkeys bearing the finest things of Egypt to Jacob, with the request that he come to Egypt to see him. The rabbis of old in Midrash had tremendous creativity and wisdom, and the rabbis asked the question, what were the things that Joseph sent to his father? The answer, according to Rashi, was the following short comment. We find it stated in the Talmud that he sent him old wine, which old people like very much. I love that comment. For Rashi wasn't just considered among the greatest of rabbinic commentators, he was an expert on wine, living in France, and Rashi had a vineyard. But it wasn't merely self-promotion that Rashi was getting at with his comment. Rashi understood that wine was the perfect symbol to send Joseph's aging father, for unlike many things that don't age well, wine can become even better with age. Joseph had wisdom beyond his years, and Jacob had a lifetime of experience squeezed like those grapes to enter into maturity. And Jacob, who started life as a heel of a man, became Israel, one who wrestled with God, and all of that took time. I'm moved by this sentiment that reflects the commandment in Leviticus, Bipnei seva takum ve'adarta pnei zakein. You shall rise before the white-haired and show deference to the old. This time of COVID has presented many challenges for people of all ages, but perhaps among the most challenging has been the isolation that the elderly in our community are experiencing. Whether in their homes or in senior centers, the isolation can be terrible and even cognitively diminishing. In the best of times, our society often overlooks those who are older, but now especially it is important to find a way to connect. All of us have neighbors and friends, people in our lives for whom we should rise before, those whose wisdom and stories can inform our lives and nourish our own souls with their experiences. I'm asking you that over this holiday season to reach out to them. As important as this is for all of us to do, I'd particularly like to send this message to our young members whose grandparents could most certainly use a call. Sometimes we take for granted the time we have. We leave questions unasked or stories untold. During this time of reflection, during this time that forces us to slow down, reach out to connect and drink deeply of the wisdom of your elders. There is a reading in our Siddur that I find particularly meaningful. It reads, "Blessed is the generation in which the old listen to the young, and doubly blessed is the generation in which the young listen to the old." Let this be a generation of reverence and connection. Let this time of physical distance not be a time of spiritual distance, and let the wisdom of our elders be sought out so that it can be a true blessing in our lives. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May this be God's will. We rise now for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula le'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelekenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam. Va'anachnu kore'im, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malachei hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'nehemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad u'shemo
During this season, we can't help but think of our loved ones who have walked this earth before us. And we're particularly thinking of dear members of our community who have passed away in recent days. Particularly, we are thinking of Charlotte Adishek, Romaine Bacher, Irving Benedin, Elaine Friedman, Emma Morar, Julie Pelton, Carl Smeda, Gary Stein, and Isla Weisfeld. And to those names, too, do we add those whom we are thinking of, those who have touched our lives and who have passed in seasons gone by. We think of Isidore Abrams, Lena Ansfield, Betty Jane Armin, Rudolph Becker, Helen Bernhardt, Robert Bernstein, Reuben Bloom, Lori Blumenfeld, Jacob Castleman, Max Durzon, May Dubin, Lena Dukor, Harry Feldman, Max Fishman, Ronald Glick, Beverly Ann Goodman, Lynn Goulder, Paul Habish, Benjamin Hirsch, Terry Hirsch, Sarah Hausfeld, Mamie Kaiser, Harry Katz, Doris Kippen, Ethel Kirsch, Philip Kurzer, Herman Levin, Jacob Levin, Norman Marcus, Jacob Meister, Robert Marins, Bernard Milhendler, Richard Larry Nelson, Lucy Newman, Dr. Herb Oxman, Myrtle Rappaport, Mendel Rosen, Burton Rosenberg, Edith Ross, Sam Rubnitz, Helen Rumelt, Cecilia Schiffman, David Shuckett, Isidore Schwartz, Arthur Ken Scott, Charles Shurko, Michael Shovers, Carl Sohn, Bernard Starobin, Charles Steiner, Harry Stillman, Lena Beatrice Sussman, Harry Toplinsky, Sidney Yuso, Hugo Vogel, Mary Weisman, Michael Weber, Maurice Weisfeld, Jordan Werner, Arlene Wertheim, Bertha Wallach, Harry Zaret, Anita Zimmerman. If there are names that should be added to this list or any names that should be pronounced differently than I did, I apologize now, and I invite you to say those names out loud or hold those names in your heart. And in addition to the names of our loved ones, so too do we think of all those who died due to war and or terrorism or the scourge of racism or have passed due to this terrible virus. All of those who died in defense of this nation and allied nations' ideals, as well as all those who died during the Holocaust. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope, the Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shmei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala uvizman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mivorach le'alam u'lamei amaya. Yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh. V'yit adar v'yit alev v'yit alal Shmei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. De'amiran be'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. We turn now to the Kiddush, and as we rise and bless the wine, let us be thankful for the gifts and the rewards of time, the wisdom gained, the connections forged, the life lived, as we journey together. Please rise or remain standing for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lemaaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim.
Thank you, Cantor, and thank you, Ben Keen, for helping us to put together this service for tonight. And we turn to our closing hymn, Yismechu Hashamayim.
Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.